Hello there, it's Kim again with Wild Rose and Pearl, coming to you with another paper creation. My name is Kim, I'm with Wild Rose and Pearl. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator based out of the Okanagan, British Columbia, Canada. Today I'm going to be working with a set called Snowflake Wishes. So we've got a set of die cuts and a stamp here. The stamp is fully sentiments and the die cut is kind of standalone. It's just a whole bunch of different types of snowflakes and a really cool full page snowflake. Okay, so we are going to make this fun fold today. It opens up like so. Can't remember what the name of it is called. It's a peekaboo Z fold card, I think is what the name is. Might come up that way on YouTube if you're searching for other types of videos of the same kind of fun fold. Okay, so we'll put that aside and then we'll pull in all the things we need to make our card today. So today we need a piece of cloud cover. It's a lovely, beautiful blue. And this is going to be 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I've already done the scoring today, so I will show that. Okay. Next piece is going to be a piece of white, and this is 8 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and we've scored this at 4 inches and 6 inches, or if you put in your score tool like this, it's going to be 2 inches and 4 inches, just depending on how you score your paper. Okay. Then we've got a piece of 5.5 by 4 1/4 white, and I've already die cut this because picking out the little bits is a little bit tricky. So I've die cut this already, but it was originally the size of 1/4 of a sheet of cardstock. So that is going to be 5.5 by 4 1/4 die cut. We have a piece of shimmer paper that's about 6 inches by 1 3/4 inches. And I've actually put an adhesive sheet on the back of it so that it becomes a sticker. So we've got that from the Glimmer sheet, paper sheet. And then I've got a little bit different of a piece of paper for this one. I've got a sheet that is 5 inches by 3 3/4 inches. And it is a sheet that was cut that way, but then I cut it in half. So then it becomes 2 pieces that are going to measure in the end. They are going to be 5 inches by by 1 7/8 of an inch. Okay, they will end up being 2 pieces. It's just so that you can line up the design on the front of the sheet. That's why you keep it as one sheet and then cut it in half. And then we've got a little bow, Misty Moonlight and silver edged little bow, and I've already tied the bow, so you don't have to watch that fussy bit to it. Okay, so now we'll get started with our project. We are going to take our white piece here, and we're going to fold it in on that score line. Okay, use your bone folder if you have one, otherwise you can just use your stamping block. That'll crease the edge, and then we're going to accordion style it back. There comes that peekaboo Z fold. It's like accordion style. Yeah, so we pull that back. So now we've got this, so now we can clearly see that we're working on our inside piece. Now we're going to do some die cutting. So I'm going to pull in the big shot here just because these are a bit bigger of die cuts. So first of all, we're going to cut our shimmer paper. So we're going to pull in our die cuts here. We're going to grab one of these snowflakes here. And we're going to cut one of these off the end of our piece. Then we're going to grab these small little snowflakes here. They come in a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So lots of extras here that we can use. Lovely little stars. If you don't use them for this, you can use them for other things. Now I know I'm going to need this, so I'm going to pull it off because I'm going to use it to die cut my white sheet. And I already showed you that we die cut this big snowflake out of a quarter sheet of cardstock. And then we're also going to pull out this circle. We're going to cut that out of our blue. So I just think I'd pull it out now. And then I've got all my pieces, all my die cuts ready to go. Okay, so then we're going to do our sandwich, our base plate, number 3 plate, clear plate, and then we're going to put our top plate on top. We'll run that through our die cutting machine. And then I'm just going to take this off of my flowers here, hoping they'll stay in. Poking out those flowers. Now this is a great tool. It's called Take Your Pick tool. I love it. It is a fabulous tool for taking all these little bits out. I was hoping these little stars would stay in the paper, but it looks like they're coming out today. So we're just gonna pop them out onto our table here. It went through the back adhesive sheet and right through. That just means we've got a really good die cutting machine today. Okay, and then another row of those, because we need more than 5. We're placing these inside and outside the card, so a little bit extra. I left that other snowflake in there just to give it a little more cutting power. So we'll put that down, and then I'm going to grab this one here, and right here on this 4-inch mark, with the fold coming on the right hand side, I'm going to place this die cut here so that I can cut out some snowflakes on that edge. A great tip is to bring in some Post-it notes or some washi tape and place that over your die cut. It just kind of gives it a chance to stay in place, so when you're moving it around, it doesn't shift or move. And I'm going to take my top plate and I'm going to place that right on top of that. We're going to die cut those snowflakes out. That snowflake accent out of the paper. The great thing about this is that it will show whatever color you put underneath. So today we're going to see that cloud cover coming through. All right. Look at that nice clean cut. That's great. Just going to take out the rest of our bits here with my Take Your Pick tool. Poke them out. Now, because it's such fine detail, it wants to kind of grab on. So we're just pulling those pieces out. Okay, now we can put that aside. We'll put our die cut machine aside. We shouldn't need that anymore. Well, we will need that in a minute, actually. So the next thing we're going to do is, let's say we just die cut this. We poked all of our pieces out, right? We've got rid of that center piece. Now we're going to take this and we're going to, you know, like with the power of television, we all of a sudden have this die cut. All the finicky bits, all done. There was a lovely show in the 50s where there was, Bewitched, and she used to shake her nose and all these things would just be done. She used to just tweak her little nose and no housework. If you could use that with crafting, it would be die cuts, I'm sure. Okay, so then we're going to place our die cut. We made our little pencil marks inside where that circle is. We're going to place our circle die cut with the lovely, it's got a lovely little snowflake accent on there. Place that right in the center of those little marks. Place that down, and then we're going to run that through our die cut machine. So this is how we're going to make our little window for our mechanism. Again, I used my Post-it note, so I was moving it all about and nothing was shifting or moving. We're going to place that on top, run that through, and then we will save that inside piece for later. Okay. Now I can put that die cutting machine. Okay, we are completely done with that for today. Try and keep my station clean. Okay. We'll take our eraser, erase our little pencil marks off of our sheet here. And then we'll start coming back and working on our inside piece. Okay, so we'll put that aside. Let's work on this piece now. Now we've got our two pieces that we cut, okay, and we're going to stamp on these. Now these are different from the original one that I did. The original one was just like a blizzardy kind of background. This one we're going to do with this. Why not? I ran out of paper, the other kind. So now we're just going to place these on this edge here. But before we do that, we're going to place them like that. Before we do that, we're going to do a little bit of stamping. So we're going to grab these pieces and stamping block, and we're going to go into our stamp set, Snowflake Kisses, and we want to grab the sentiment, Let It Snow. So grab that, lay it down so it's in its most natural form, and then we're just going to grab our block and pick it up. That way we're not doing this where we put it on and then we kind of curve it by accident, and then all of a sudden our letters are going all wonky. We want it to just lay nice and natural, and then we're going to pick it up with our block. Perfect. Then we're going to pull in our Misty Moonlight color, and we're going to stamp that 3 times. Now I'm just going to mock place this. So I'm just putting that in where it will be so that I can stamp around it and see where I'm stamping. So Let It Snow. I'm going to start on my left hand side here. Stamp it once in the top, Let It Snow. Stamp again just above my circle. Okay. And then stamp again just below on the left hand side there. Looking good. Okay, I will put that over to be cleaned. Then we'll close up our stamp pad so we don't get ink on it. Inevitably, I'll drop the base in it or something and get ink everywhere. Okay, so now you can adhere this to this part of the card. You can either use your stamp and seal, you can use your glue, or you can use some tear and tape if you feel. I'm going to use glue today. I've got my cool little holder here. My husband 3D printed me. And we're just going to place some glue on the back. It's hard to decide what side to use. It's always tricky. It's the thing about two-sided paper. You sacrifice one side for the other. Okay. Then I'm going to line up with my score line here and then evenly up and down. So I kind of just take 2 points and I make it even spacing on those. Then line it up nice with my center score line here. So I am a little touch closer to the one edge on that side. Okay, then we're going to grab our other one. So you're getting another version of it with this paper. And at the end of the video, I will take the opportunity to show you some other cards I made with this set so that you can see other ways you can use it. So now it looks like one flush piece of paper, but of course we know it's going to fold in half, right? So we're going to see that fold in half. Now I'm going to fold it directly in half, and I'm going to add adhesive to this side of the paper. But first I'm going to score and close this card just so that it's nice burnished edge. Okay. I can see that fold line now really clearly. Okay, so now I'm going to put adhesive on this side. I'm going to use glue again so I have a little wiggle room when I go to lay it down. And I'm getting glue all around that outside edge. A little bead of glue. And then I'm just going to place glue on all the little tips here. Now, if you have a precision tip glue, this is a great time to use your precision tip glue. The precision tip glue is really great for finicky small things like this. We do have a pointed tip on here, but if you press a little too hard, you'll get like a blob of glue. So you have to be very light-handed when you use the Tombow glue. Okay, so I think I've got enough of a soft glue on this. Okay. Oh, let me just get a little bit in here for strength. Okay. So now I'm going to take this folded piece that I've got all nicely folded here, and I'm going to center this nicely into my card. The reason why I folded it right in half is so that you can see your outer edges are all even on there. And then I'm going to press that down. That should be nice and solid on there. Okay, look at that. Looks really nice. Really nice effect being able to see those snowflakes underneath. Very nice. Okay, so then I'm going to take this edge, fold it in, and I'm going to close the front cover of my card. And now I can see where my circle is going to go. So I'm just going to place adhesive on this part of the circle. Probably easiest this way. I have used Post-it notes before where I put a Post-it note down and cover half the Post-it note when I flip it up. Then I can see, or I'm only covering one side, but this looks like the easiest way. Just demonstrated this and somebody was like, I think I like it that way better. I thought, you know what? You're right. That is probably a better way to do it. Okay, so now we've got that piece in there. Now when we open it up, we've got our cool little flap. It fits in quite nicely. Okay, next up, I'm going to take my snowflake sheet here and I'm going to adhere that to the top. So I'm going to put some glue. Again, very gentle squeeze, but in all the kind of obvious places, I'm just going to put little dots of glue. Just going to dot away all over this front piece. You can also use adhesive sheets if you like. If you like doing that, that's a way to get this on there. But a lot of times you just have to put glue on some of those obvious centers of the snowflakes, the tips of the snowflakes. Oh, I bonked that piece a little bit. It's okay, it'll lay flat when we put it on there. Okay, we're just getting our little bits of glue here. Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow. Okay. All right, so then I'm going to take a little bead here and I'm going to run it around this inner circle of the die cut here. Nice little run around that. Nice little run around the edge so we can get the edge down. There we go. We have got enough glue to put this on now. So then I'm going to line it up with the bottom of my sheet here and up with the right edge of my card. So I'm wanting to get that nice corner lined up on that edge. That thing about glue is that you can move it a little bit. It gives you a little bit of moving power. So you can see my circle's not super centered, so I'm going to pull that up a little bit. I think it might be because I might have moved it. Silly nilly me. I must not have done my pencil marking correctly. It's still going to look fine though, especially once I put the bow on there. So there we go. We've got our front piece on. Yeah, I don't know what I did there. I must not have put my Post-it notes on nice enough when I die cut it. It'll be fine. Okay. Next up, I'm going to take my snowflakes off. So we can grab these out and this one out of here. And my tip, if you're, like, let's say your snowflake wants to stay in the silver sheet, my tip for that, like let's say it's like this, and you're gonna have a hard time getting it out, I would take your scissors and I would cut to the edge of your snowflake. Now let's see if I can get a reflection on here that kind of shows it. Okay, so there you can see my snowflake. Now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut right to there, right to there, maybe cut in a bit. So then what I do is I take the negative space off. So I'll pick this and I would take the negative space off, kind of like it's allowing me to pull this. Let me pull in one that's not done. Okay. So this one here is stuck really well. It's gone through. It doesn't want to separate, right? That just means it didn't cut through the backing. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut. Let's get a reflection really good. I'm going to cut to the edge of my snowflake. And then I'm going to cut to the edge of my snowflake again. So then when I go to pull this off, I pull off around the edge of my snowflake, around the negative space. It's hard to pull beautiful, like delicate things like pine needle stuff when you're pulling it out and up. A lot of times you'll tear off the end. So you can see here, because I'm pulling the negative space, it's pulling out away from the snowflake, right? So pulling the negative space away from the snowflake is easier. Then when I go to grab it out like this, after I push my centers, of course, then when I go to grab it out like this, it's not going to tear. Like it's not going to tear away. If I tried to pull it out like here, it's starting to want to tear again. So I want to pull away the negative space. I'm pulling away the negative space. And then all I'll be left with is all that delicate stuff. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to come in and pull away. Of course, it's being finicky. While I'm trying to show you, it's going to be finicky for me. Pull away the negative space, pulling away the negative space. Comes out way nicer when I do that. And then I'm just going to pull this off. So then all I have left to poke out is these little center pieces. Those come out way nicer than the beautiful edges. So now it's looking pretty good. All I've got is a couple of center pieces here, and I've got my beautiful snowflake ready to go. 1 and 2. Okay. Oh, let's get rid of that. Now, I found it really nice to line up the snowflake with that center fold line. Look at that. Very nice. Okay. And then these little snowflakes that we pulled out, those are just going to go inside on the Let It Snow area. And then we're going to put the outside on top of our snowflakes, the centers of our snowflakes. So I'll push out some of these out of here. Actually, I'll just pull in this one. This one here, because they're really small, you can just pull them off. So I use my take your pick or the top of my scissors. I'll show you with scissors. It's just in case you don't have a take your pick tool. So there's my scissors. I've just pulled it up. Place it on. Grab a corner edge, pull it up, place it on. So super quick. And we want to go with odd numbers. So you can either do like 3, 5, 7. Odd numbers are more appealing, apparently. More appealing to the eye, odd numbers. We've got 5 in there. Then I'm just going to close this up. Got my outside now. I'm going to put 5 on the outside. Or no, I think there's 7 snowflakes on the outside. So I'm going to put 7. And that means I'll have 2 left over. for something else. Maybe I can put them on the envelope. Ooh, decorate the envelope. That's fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This part goes a little bit quicker. 6. There's a center. And there's a center there. 7. Give me one more. Give me one more. I think I've got all my centers. Perfect. Then the last piece of the puzzle is our little bow. And our little bow, all I do is I take a glue dot. I take my glue dot. I place my bow directly onto my glue dot. And then I lift up the bow. And then I place the bow right on the edge here. Now, if you want this to look more like an ornament, I liked it on the bottom. Probably shouldn't have pressed so hard on that. But if you like, you could put it up here. Looks more like an ornament, the circle. I liked it down here because the focus was more on the snowflake and not the bow. And then you can trim your ends if you'd like them a little bit shorter. There you go. And then that's our card for today. Very pretty card. Sits on a mantle really nicely. Yeah, so there's our snowflake card. And I did promise that I was going to bring some more examples in. So here are some more examples of how I use this set. I use the die cuts. Here I've used the die cuts as embossing, so they don't cut through. They just press into the card top, the cardstock. And then I added some die cuts to pop it up and a couple of rhinestones. And I used one of the other sentiments, "May the chill of winter be warmed by love and friendship," which I thought was a really nice sentiment. Then I made a faker shaker card using that lovely top piece. You just put your shaker bits in a bag and then got your card. Nice little shaker card. Here I use the butterfly bijou paper because it's more pastel tones. And then I did the die cutout piece and then added 2 snowflakes and then Happy Winter from the sentiment set. And then I put a little bit of Winkastella on the snowflakes that were raised up. So that's the butterfly, or it's not butterfly bijou, sorry. It's, oh gosh, what is it called? I can't remember what the paper is called. You know what? I want to tell you what it's called. So I'm going to go grab it. I'll be 1 second. I'm going to go grab that paper. Beautiful bokeh. Okay, it is called Beautiful Bokeh paper, and it's all these kind of, there's some pastel-y colors in there. It's really pretty paper. There's the sheet that I was using there. There's a lovely blue, there's a lovely purple, there's a lovely pink. So these ones are great for a pastel, which is a non-traditional Christmas colors. And then here, I did another one. This is called a window sheet floating. So I've cut it so that you can see the window sheet in behind. And then I added some snowflakes, but the acetate is clear. So it just kind of looks like those pieces are floating on there. And then I added some embellishments to that. So yeah, there's a lot of ways that you could use this set, but this was probably the most elegant with the lovely sparkle paper. All right. I hope this inspires you to make some creations of your own. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.